So it's about a little after 1 a.m. It's about 37 degrees out, and now I'm just kind of walking around the block because when you're waiting for a store to open at 9 a.m., that's kind of the only thing you can do. There's probably about, I would estimate, 90 people in line right now waiting for Pappy, but there's some who think it's the best whiskey in the world. And there are others who are just trying to figure out what all the hype's about. I think that's a lot of us. This is my first pursuit of Pappiness. Will it be the last? Time will tell. Fast forward 10 years and
we just did another lottery. Another line.
We did. I was going to start with the positive. We have collected all 6, including the rye, of the, we're just gonna call it Pappy Van Winkle. I know the 10 and the 12 are Van Winkle. These are the only 3 that are actually called Pappy, but
it's easier
for the rest of this episode, these are all Pappy. Let's get that out of the way.
Or all the Van Winkles, yeah. We get asked still on a regular basis, coming to Kentucky for bourbon tours, trips, whatever, and what are those little mom and pop, unknown liquor stores where I could go in and like maybe find a Dusty or like a bottle of BTAC or Pappy or something, and I'm like, I don't even know that I was around during those days, but if those days ever did exist, they did. They're long gone. Again, as you can see in the clip of Chad waiting in line at 1 a.m. to just potentially get a bottle, that was 10 years ago now. The notion that those types of places exist where it's not secondary prices, that doesn't exist.
Before we go no further, I'm gonna clear this off just because, so I don't wanna knock one of these over, so hold on one second. Much better. Now I can gesture.
So much more room for activities.
Sarah, 2015, that was the only time that I had stayed overnight, and it was on a fluke. I went to Liquor Barn because I think I saw some people lining up, and I was asking people, what's going on? They said, I was Pappy tomorrow. And they were like, you should stay. And they these people I didn't know.
They recruited you.
Kind of talked me into it.
And that's how it all began.
Yeah, so that was the one time I stayed. I didn't get a bottle, so it didn't really helped me.
So you stayed all that time, and that's why he never camped out again.
Well,
because he didn't get a bottle. Not overnight,
Right. But as you have seen, we do now have all the bottles. We're gonna go through how we got those, how we got the BTACs that we do have. We're gonna go through 3 of what we consider, at least in our area, and if you have it in your area, the best ways for you to get a bottle.
Potentially.
A Pappy, a BTAC of allocated things. If nothing else, how to get a pour of it.
Plus, we're gonna talk about how the retail prices have changed over all this time.
Well, let's get into it. Okay, we've done some Pappy content on this channel in the almost 9 years that we've been around. Not a whole lot, but one of the first ones we did was in our first year, 2016. That's where you got called, your ticket was called, you were able to get a RIP 10, 10-year-old Van Winkle. My number wasn't called, I didn't get anything. But the next year, I think, or later, I don't remember, but at a different Liquor Barn, which is a chain here in Kentucky, my number did get called, and I had the opportunity to get, I think it was down to Pappy 15 or the Van Winkle Rye, and they said the Van Winkle Rye from that year is more rare, or just as rare as the 23 year as far as bottle numbers.
So you picked the rye, obviously.
So I picked the rye. So the rye was my first one. Now, if you saw, that's the only one that wasn't opened. That's because I later got to try this exact bottle number, and I didn't so much enjoy it. So here it has sat unopened. It's the only one that is not opened. Maybe one day I'll find someone who enjoys this one, and we'll do a little tradesies on something. The Pappy 15, again, Liquor Barn has this thing called Pappy Birthday, where during the month of your birthday, once a day, you can write your name and phone number, put it in a box, and then they draw. I did that maybe 8 or 9 times, and my name got called, so I went in there to be able to buy a 15 year. So we've been to lots of lotteries, online and in person. We've stood out in the cold. We've, filled in the surveys or whatever online.
I mean, but it's paid off. You saw that line.
It has. I would say
0 complaints.
For the number that we've entered, we've lost more than we have won. But still, look at what we had achieved.
And those are just the Pappies that we were talking about. We haven't even talked about the BTACs.
Yeah. So getting a bottle is not impossible. The latest raffle that we went to just this last weekend, which was at another liquor barn. We had about a 1 in 9, 1 in 10 chance when we asked how many of the bracelets they gave away versus how many bottles that they had. They had 100 bottles that time. They've had more in the past.
They got a Johnny Walker Black Label Squid Games collab. Like, this is getting out of hand. We were unsuccessful, spoiler.
But, not awful odds. Now, if you want to have a taste of it, let's tackle that first.
Okay.
Because some people just have this morbid curiosity, and you'll see it in some interviews that we did asking people, which one would they go for if they had to pick the litter. It was most always the 23 year.
Because they want to know.
Because they want to know. It's the most elusive. I mean, there was a 25 out there, the old Rip Van Winkle 25 year. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that.
That we don't have that one. So
no.
I guess we don't have them all. To have a taste, just to satisfy the curiosity, and we've always said to have an opinion about it is great to have. So there is this bar in Lexington, Sarah. It's actually the oldest bar in Lexington.
Yes, CCI from 1933. It's been around.
Chevy Chase Inn.
Chevy Chase Inn, as it's lovingly called CCI by the locals. A few years ago, they did a Pappy Holidays event, which was not a lottery, but you got in line, and based on where you were in line, you got a ticket, or you got to choose, based on however many pours were left, what you wanted a pour of, and then you would redeem your ticket at the bar for a pour. And it was a healthy pour.
It was a 1 ounce pour.
Yeah, it was a nice 1 ounce pour. And we did stand out there for a bit, and people are always like, why are you going to do that? Why are you going to waste your time like that to stand out there just for a pour? And it's like, it is about that, and the lotteries too. You meet so many people, you get to be so enmeshed in the community and talk to people about different stuff, and it's just like a gathering of bourbon people where you might, win something. I don't know, I think it's fun.
So what time did you get in line here today?
About 9:40, 9:45.
Okay, and for reference, it's a little after 1 o'clock right now, right?
I don't think anyone started showing up till about noon. It's my first time tasting Pappy, the first time.
Okay.
When I believe I've had 10 or 12, maybe. I don't know which one it was, but wasn't too impressed. But I'm hoping to see the older bottles maybe make a believer out of me. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see.
Right.
Some of these fellow bourbon drinkers saying, 15 years, a good one, the 20-year, one best bourbon ever. So it's kind of hard to say now. I think for me, it's going to be more about saying I've drank a shot from a bottle that cost $6,000 or $4,000 more than I'm going for flavor. So I'm not looking to be a believer. I'm not going to buy a bottle of Pappy. I'm not going to be a Pappy drinker. So I think I'm just going for the street cred of saying, hey, I'll drink a bottle. I've done a shot for a $6,000 bottle. Kevin Davis. We have Bourbon Breweries and Beyond. We got TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Check us out.
So he was first in line, as we heard, got there around 9:45. I was filming him at 1. I think the doors opened around 2.
I think the doors opened around 2, yeah.
And he said most people, no one got behind him until noon. Yeah, so I don't consider that a very long wait. And he got a 1 ounce pour of Pappy 23. Forget this. Guess how much?
How much?
$20.
Wow.
We were further down in the line because we got there later. I think we just heard about it. And I got the 12, you got the 10. We decided to do that so we could both
have a little sip.
$5. $5. So they were selling it at their cost.
Which I think is pretty cool.
So obviously if you don't live in Kentucky, that might not help you. But the idea behind this is to look into your local bars, places around you to see if anyone is doing anything like this. And if not, maybe go to one of your local bars and be like, look what these guys in Lexington, Kentucky did. What if you got, I don't know. That is to say that they do exist out there, and it is possible to get it for a ridiculously good price.
I mean, I feel that locally, I feel like I'm revealing my secrets. I'm had the best luck with finding things just be available and at a reasonable price for a good size pour in dive bars. I think people discount them. They're like, I'm going to go to the fancy bourbon bar to drink bourbon. That's where it's most likely to be marked up insanely.
Oh, yeah. They know what they have.
Go to a dive bar where they're like, we don't sell this stuff and we do have a bottle of it, but we kind of just want to move it. And I bet you that they would negotiate with you. But I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Totally.
Worth a shot.
Worth a shot.
We have a sweet lady back there who's mixing hers with pineapple juice. I love it. Yeah, do you know I love it?
I'm Kevin.
My name's June.
Okay.
I've had the 10 and the 12, the 10 and 12, but I haven't had any of these other vintages. So I think we came together. So I think we're gonna try some of the older vintages and then see some of the differences between two of the older ones. I think it's just cool chance to try something that otherwise pretty hard to ever get a chance to see what it's about.
I've never tried Pappy, so it'd be nice to try. I always talk about it with my friends of like trying to get in the in of getting a Pappy, but good to try something sort of cheaper, see what is good value too. So
yeah, it's really nice of CCI to do something like this and to sell it for a really reasonable cost and let everyone get a chance to see what it's about.
A lot of people there at CCI, most of them, it seemed like the theme was they'd had maybe the 10 and the 12, or they hadn't had it at all, and they were really just looking to extinguish a curiosity, it seems like.
Yeah, I think especially when we talk about like the more solidified or the older standing bourbon community and whiskey community, as you said before, like people have an opinion on it. It's a topic of conversation. You may be watching this video right now and being like, no one cares or whatever. Everyone's over the Pappy craze, and that's totally your opinion, and maybe you've had it and that's why you get to weigh in on it. But these folks who maybe are newer or just haven't had the chance, a lot of people want to participate in the conversation. How can they if they've never tried it? How can you say it's not worth it?
All right, before we go any further, we want to hit pause, take a little break, tell you about our home on the internet. It's whiskyambitions.com, where during the month of February, I know if you're watching this on the day it came out, it's still January, but in February, throughout the entire month, it's buy one, get one free elemental elixir cocktail syrup.
That's crazy, just because we love you and it is Valentine's Day month.
Valentine's Day
We
month.
love you.
We love you. We want to give you one free. So to take advantage of that, you just put 2 in the cart, or 4 in the cart if you want to get 2 for free, or
However many you want. Even numbers though, as you.
Yeah, even numbers. And then at checkout, you just enter code Golden Hour. That's the name of the cocktail syrup, Golden Hour, for your buy one, get one discount. Of course, you can get these lovely crystal cut Glencairns if you're drinking the nice stuff. It tastes 25% better. Not a legal claim.
We can't back that up.
Yeah. Hats and shirts and hoodies. You're not wearing anything, Sarah.
I'm not.
All that and more at whiskyambitions.com.
And you can become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. That is where we release our barrel picks, after the episode exclusives, opportunities to participate in events with us, and more.
Yeah, we got some great names of people right down here.
We couldn't do stuff like this without them. Again, we couldn't have completed our Pappy lineup without them.
Without Patreon.
I mean, so it's kind of like, hey, sign up to help us more, but that's not what it's. We're all a loving community. We're just a big old family.
All right, we'll be right back after this. So we'll get back more to the CCI people later. In fact, we'll see if it was worth it once the doors open and they got to taste some of that 20 and 23 year.
Okay.
But
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. I want to talk about the advantage of going to a lottery like the Liquor Barn one that we went to, where we've struck out the past umpteen times we've been there. But if we didn't have any of these bottles, or we just wanted to taste a different year of Pappy, because all the ones that we have are from different years. A lot of times, if a store is doing a giveaway, or not a giveaway, if they're doing a raffle to buy a bottle, and they have a tasting bar, a lot of times they'll populate that tasting bar with the bottles, which is what happened at our Liquor Barn there in Hamburg.
Yeah, I feel like we see a lot of the people, once everyone's outside and all the numbers are done being called, you see a lot of people going inside for their pours as their consolation prize. Some people get them ahead of the drawing because, they're cold and they want to warm up. You can see the prices here on screen. Those are for 1 ounce pours. Now, we do also have footage with prices from that tasting bar there from 2023, and the prices have gone up.
They have. So they didn't have a 23 year. They had the 20.
That makes sense.
Yeah, both of these years. But back in the 2023 video, 1 ounce pour of 20 year would cost you $45, a 15 for 26, a 12 for 22, a 10 for 15. This year, 20 year has gone up by $25, $69.99 for 1 ounce, $44.99. That's up $19 for a 15 year. Up $5 is the 12 year at $27, and another $5 for the 10 year at $20.
Crazy.
One positive to point out, Sarah, is the tasting bar. George C. Stagg, 2023, $34.99. 2025, also $34.99. Same thing with the Thomas H. Handy, $34.99. The price has not increased on those. 1 year they had a WLW, the other year they didn't, so we can't compare.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 years and the price of BTAC has stayed the same.
Okay.
So they are going up, but there has been a big retail jump.
That's true. There has been a retail jump for those bottles.
Yeah, we happened to run into a couple friends there this last weekend at Liquor Barn. Our friends Michael and Will. So we were staying with them. All 4 of us struck out, by the way.
Yeah, no luck all around.
We were asking them, between them calling numbers, what they thought a 10-year retail was, a 12-year. And by that point, I was like, oh, I should be filming this. So they'd already guessed the 10 and the 12 off camera. But then we decided to ask them to guess the retail prices of the rest of them.
MSRP of the 13-year Pappy Rye is $169.50.
Okay. I'm gonna go $179.99.
$199.99. Oh. Will wins that one.
So I'll go $209.99.
Okay.
$223.
Also $199.99.
20-year would be $273.09.
What are you talking? What are you? I'll do $269.99.
$319.99.
Okay. All right.
Inflation, baby.
$389.99.
$415.
$449.99. I go with that. I haven't been keeping score, so I don't know who won.
I had too much faith in Buffalo Trace.
So yeah, a little bit off.
Just a little game of The Price is Right out there in the cold to distract us.
Yeah, but let's talk about the retail price hike. The biggest one has been the 23 year. So back in 2022, I searched for 2023 information. I think it was the same as 22 though. We're just gonna assume that it was. So back in 2022, a 23 year cost $300 retail. Now it's $450. That's up $150.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit of an increase there.
Yeah, the 20 year up $120 to $320.
The 15 year is up $80 to $200. The 12 year is up $70 to $149.99 to $150. And the 10 year is up $60 to $129.99.
Yeah.
Now, I do think, as we've seen across the board in general, prices of not just whiskey, but it seems like everything are on the rise, and that's not something that we're going to talk about here. So I think we can say that that correlates there, but I also think that some of these price increases, especially the 150 and the 120 increase on the 23 and 20 year, may be sort of a tool to discourage flipping a little bit more. You're got a little bit more on the line now when you're going to buy those bottles to flip them.
Yeah.
So maybe it will deter a little bit of that. I don't know.
Could be. Going back to 2015, my first hunt, a 10 year cost $50 retail.
And now it is $129.99.
Yeah, the 23 year back then was $250, so it took a while before it went up $50 to $300. But
wow, in 10 years it's gone up $200 though. That's a lot. Let's let that one sink in a little bit. That's a lot. Just a little bit. It's a lot.
So with all this talk about Pappy and a little bit about BTAC, we'll get to some BTAC later. We had to ask some people, is it overrated? Is Pappy overrated?
Absolutely not, but I will say I am quite angry at the resale market for this product. It is delicious. It is completely worth a premium price, but sorry resellers, you're not getting any of my money.
If you have to buy it, probably. If you get to drink it, no.
I'll let you know after I try it.
I like that answer. I like that answer.
From what I've tasted, yes, but that's to be continued to see what I taste today. So maybe that 23 year will be make me a believer. Like, okay, it's what's in the bottle too.
Well, I don't know. I haven't had the 15, the 20, the 23, so I can't say for sure on those. The 10 and the 12, I'm certainly on secondary. It's overrated, yes.
So kind of hard there because a lot of those people there hadn't had the older ones, so they were like, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the general consensus also with what we see feedback online is, if it's just what's in the bottle, is it overrated? No, it's a good product. It's a solid product. Even for, as that one person said, for a premium product, it's great. But for what it's going for on secondary and the level of legend, I don't know, that it has achieved, the lore around it, it seems way blown out of proportion. Like, absolutely not worth that level.
Right. So back in our 2021 flight fight, I watched it again today, and we said it would have been $770 to buy all 5 of them at retail. To get a 1 ounce pour on average, $570. And then, I don't know how we did this back then, but looking online, we said in the episode it would have been $14,000 to buy all 5. Now, I can't remember if we went with the highest that we saw, if we tried to average it.
Or just looked at the same site. It's been a while since we made that video.
I did the same thing today, and to get all 5, it would have been around $8,650 to $10,300. So I do think the craze, and maybe this is because some people are saying the bourbon boom bubble has burst. That's a lot of B's.
The bubble busted.
That's a lot of, that's a topic for another time. But I do think the hype around Pappy itself is dying down, which is weird that the retail prices are going up. But as I kind of agree with you, Sarah, it's to deter flipping.
I think so.
But I do think it's a better time to buy them in a secondary world, even though we don't recommend that now than it was even back in 2021.
Well, I can't hang on to this cliff anymore. It's a cliffhanger joke. I need to find out what those two nice gentlemen thought about when they got their Pappy.
I think we're both in agreement. 23 really is something special.
Not too much oak for you?
No, it's so good. Actually, interestingly, I thought the 12 was a little bit over oak, but somehow the 23 is not as crazy. It really blends together so well.
Might be that lower fruit. It's like a light finish, and I don't know if I would pay for it, but this was worth $20.
So you all got the 20 and the 23?
Yeah, we did.
And the consensus is the 23?
I like the 23.
The 23,
okay.
But the 20 is also fantastic.
Very good.
Well, I think no one can disagree with what he said. A pour of Pappy 23 for $20, worth it.
Yeah.
He felt that it was worth his time in line.
Yes.
And we always feel like it's worth our time in line because we get to meet nice folks like that.
Yeah. Now, worth a bottle of 23 for $3,650, which is what I found it online for earlier today. No. What is? I mean, what even is? That's another conversation.
I think that's a whole debate in and of itself. Is there a consumable that's worth that much? People pay, obviously not the same amount, but there's caviar, there's truffles, there's champagne, there's wine, there's other things that are consumables other than whiskey that people do pay ridiculous amounts for.
Sneakers? That's a different type of consumable. It's wearable.
Well, that's an item that you keep. I'm talking about eating and drinking.
You wear shoes, though.
This is a great debate, too, and it's also what you're not capturing is the experience. Some people say they wouldn't pay X number of dollars for a vacation or an all-inclusive resort or a cruise, but it's, the experience that you get from that. I don't know. Maybe that's a video. I'm not sure.
Well, going along with the different ways that you can get bottles, they're moving away from Liquor Barn, going to the largest chain, which is Kroger, because there's Kroger Wine and Spirits all over the place. They have a thing in December, I believe. I think it's called Pappy Holidays. I don't know if the CCI thing was called something different. Who knows?
Can't remember.
There's lots of different ways to, put a pun on Pappy with happy. But it's where you can go to every Kroger Wine and Spirits in your town, or if you can make it outside. Basically, any Kroger Wine and Spirits that you can make it to within the time period
and this
allotted. I think this is confined just to Kentucky with the Kroger Wine and Spirits. But you go there, I think it's like a 4-hour period. You probably have to wait in a little bit of a line, but you write down your name, phone number, and birth date and put it in a thing. Then you hustle it over to the next one. So here's some, footage of us. We did this. We've done it many years, but one year we actually decided to film it.
I literally Google Maps every Kroger Wine and Spirits location in Lexington where we live, and then figured out the best route so that we could hit as many as possible in those 4 hours without leaving the city. That was fun.
Neither one of us got drawn. In fact, we've never gotten drawn in the several years that we've done the Kroger Wine and Spirits thing. But that's another way to potentially get yourself a bottle.
Yeah.
The one thing we haven't really talked about is BTAC and how we got our BTAC. First of all, we don't have the complete BTAC vertical, boohoo us, but
it's fine.
We have 3 of the 5. We've never been able to get a Sazerac 18 or an Eagle Rare 17. But the 3 that we do have, I believe they have also been from raffles and friends helping us out.
Right. Yeah. From either the help of our friends or raffles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got those the same way. So anyone who's watching this video and who's like, this is impossible, I don't know what you guys are talking about, and you guys probably only have these because of what you do for your channel. When we go to these lotteries and raffles, we stand in line like everyone else. We don't tell anyone who we are. we don't get special treatment. We don't get to cut line. We don't get a bracelet of our choice. We get a bracelet and a random number like everyone else. No, no special treatment. So it is possible. It's just you could play you gotta play the game.
You do. You can't win without playing, right? That's what they always say. And the more times
you get a lottery ticket.
Yeah, the more times you do it, the better your odds always are. So
I suppose.
Yeah.
Hopefully one of these days you luck out.
I hope so.
And if not, in the meantime, we hope you meet some fantastic friends, enjoy some fantastic pours, and just try to remember what was good or what used to be so good, I think, about the whiskey community and the bourbon community was just being able to get together and have conversations about the things that you like and the things that you've tried. And that's why I really enjoy these events.
Well, there we go. Best of luck to you guys, whether you're trying to find a bottle or just get a pour so you can have that all-important opinion. Best of luck to you all. But that's where we better leave it. If you haven't subscribed to us already, you can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here. Hope to see you over there in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, until next time, drink more bourbon.